All right. Welcome back, guys, to the sealed progression set review of the Militia Madness podcast. Today, we're looking at, I think, what is widely regarded as the worst set ever made, or one of the worst sets ever made,
Yeah.
for sure. It's kind of like the punchline to a bunch of jokes of just like how bad it was. And I was looking online, I don't know why. I think it was just like, because this is like even amongst other sets that came out at the same time. Yeah, if you look at the wiki, it says, and I quote, Homelands is frequently panned as Magic's all-time low in game design. You know, it's what happens where, to my knowledge, a lot of effort was put into like world design and flavor and that kind of stuff, and like nobody played the cards before they released it. Um, It's yeah,
Yeah.
my God, is this set terrible? Um, so that's the history of it. What it represents for our series is I don't think it's quite ignorable, but I doubt that we're going to open cards that change our decks. Like to put it in perspective, when I opened Necropotence from Ice Age, my strategy changed. I was like, oh, now I need to play black. That kind of card does not exist in here. Having said that, there are some playable cards, and then there are some fine cards. Pinnacle of which I think this Abbey Gargoyles
Yep.
that you're seeing on the screen now is like fine. 5 mana, 3/4 flyer with pro red is not terrible, especially against you. Like your removal is red, so this
Yeah.
is
Can gum up the
whatever.
board real nicely.
Against you. Um I have some black removal that can deal with it, which is nice. But like we're dealing with stuff like Ace in Highway. Like this is the level of crap we're at. Where or like Death Speakers, which are like 1/1s.
Yeah, like
You know,
6 mana to give everything planeswalk. God.
yeah, it's not great.
But yeah, Death Speakers is
Um
not too bad. Like if you're playing against a black deck, it can just sit there and really gum up the stuff.
yeah, but I just think either of us I don't think that's a long-term strategy because what are you gumming up against, right? Because against me, it does nothing. I don't think I have a black creature that I've played yet. And against you, it does next to nothing because you just get in the air with a fallen angel or a rook egg or something along those lines. Or against last week, it would have done nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I
You
don't
know.
mean in, like specifically the context of our current decks. I just mean in general, like this card seems fine.
Oh yeah. I'm putting in context of the series because I think we're far enough along to start talking about it. Yet, like the best white cards are like Mesa Falcon.
Yeah.
Sarah Aviary is actually a card that I think might last in the series for a little bit, but eh. Sarah Bestiary is like a
Yeah.
pretty decent
Also,
white
Prophecy just
removal.
cantrips.
Yeah. Like I said
Yeah.
last episode in Ice Age, basically if it has the text draw a card on it, it's probably gonna be playable.
Yep.
Leeches, you know. Poison counters were a thing before Infect. Take that. Um
Yep.
and then you mentioned the Falconer
Yeah.
uh
It says bird.
is eroded, and we will be playing with the errata text
Yeah.
on
So
cards
can
moving
buff a
forward.
lot more stuff, which is not too bad.
It's for those of you curious, it's errata to say birds.
Yep.
Any instance of the word falcon is replaced with the word
Bird.
bird.
Except in the card's
Yes.
name.
Yeah, it's not the Soroya the birder, because that's a stupid
Yeah,
name.
but it's not Mesa Bird.
Um, bird in blue, for me, the biggest standout is Memory Lapse. Jinx is a cantrip. Merchant Scroll is pretty decent
Yeah.
for much later.
Yeah,
Because
like
I do think the mentality of tutors being worse and limited is true, but we are going to get to a point where we are transcendent above limited formats. I think we're already there.
Yeah, the main thing with Merchant Scroll is you need to be doing something like combo-y with a
Yeah,
blue interrupt, because if you're just like searching up counterspell with this, it does not feel great.
no, you need a target.
Yeah, so like
That's
High Tide right now is like the biggest one you could have if you can somehow make that work.
which
So
I
this,
have,
yeah, so this can just be more copies of High Tide, and that's generally what you'd see. Like
or like
in like constructed
an
formats, you've seen
expel
this
or
get gifts
something.
ungiven.
Yeah, like an expel or something.
Yeah,
I think you need to be doing like
Brain Freeze will
either
also be a big
something,
one.
yeah, something good with like a combo card, or something really really good with like a control card. Narwhal, I actually think is pretty decent as well.
Yeah, First Strike Pro Red.
Um,
Yeah.
hmm and that's
Memory Lapse is
about it.
obviously good, but yeah.
Yeah, Memory Lapse is like the best card in the set by like a wide margin. In black, there's a couple of things in black that I think are pretty okay in like a black control deck. Baron Sengir, I actually think with in an era where Dark Ritual exists, I actually think is pretty okay. Black Carriage is a
Yeah.
card. Broken Visage is also like a pretty decent removal spell. Um, Drudge Spells is funny. Dry Spell is terrible. You know, more
Yeah.
unplayable crap. But just creatures that fit in on curve, I think is fine. Headstone is a perfectly fine cantrip. Singer Autocrat is going to have some stuff. Singer Bats, I actually think is pretty okay just because of its synergy with Dark Ritual.
Yeah, like the only problem is it's hard for it to actually get bigger.
Yeah, but it's just a thing that you can play. Um,
And then Ishin Shade
that's
is
about
actually
it
not
for.
too bad if you're playing against white.
Which neither of us will be for a
Yeah.
decent thing. Which is actually something I want to talk about that neither of us have played white. I think that white decks at this time were actually pretty okay, but they just rely on being able to curve out, play efficient creatures, and remove the things you care about. And
Yeah.
all of their good stuff is at like high rarity. Like debatably the best removal spell at this time is a white card.
Yeah, it's like you can be
But
doing like Swords and Sarah Angel stuff, but you need to pull like a critical mass of those.
and yeah, a lot of the white cards are really really locked behind rarity. Is the thing. In terms of red, there is a Minotaur thing going on. Anaba Bodyguard has been eroded to a Minotaur, not a bodyguard.
Yeah.
Um,
Same for the
it
Inaba
also should be
Ancestor.
noted that this is the era of like 10,000 arts for every freaking card. Um,
Yep.
so if you watch in our set review and we open a certain card and it has different art, blame wizards.
Yeah. And then we got Chandler from Friends.
Chandler and Aaron and Joven.
Yep.
Aaron, I actually don't think is terrible. Just a 5 mana 5/2 with regenerate and haste is
Yeah.
like fine. Chandler and Joven, if you follow our other format on the channel, are actually both. No, they're not. They're commons. Never
Yeah.
mind.
If you can play him, and
But behind the curtains, we actually
you can play
talked
Aaron.
internally. You can play Aaron. Yep. We actually talked internally as the council members if we wanted to allow common legendaries, and this is before Spider-Man came out, and at the time they were like 5, and we were like no, because it's
Yeah.
like,
Now
and
there are
my
a lot
argument,
more.
yeah, now there are a lot more, but
Damn Marvel.
yeah. Um, Ambush Party is also like a card. Haste is just a really good mechanic at this point in time, and it's on so little. That just being able to like put a attacker into play, you know.
Yeah, and First
And
Strike's
that's
good.
it for red. There is no like red removal spell in this set, as there so often is. You know, like an incinerate or a lightning strike or whatever.
Yeah.
Because this set sucks. In green, you have Autumn Willow, which is 6 mana hexproof.
I think
These.
it's Shroud maybe, because this, yeah, it's Shroud.
Oh, it is Shroud, but you can pay green for it not to have Shroud.
Yeah.
God, this card sucks. Um, I think there are some land untappers in this set, like Lage Druid or whatever the crap I'm thinking about. Um, Honestly, one of the biggest cards from this set is Spectral Bearers, and I'm not kidding. 2 minute 3/3 is just great.
Yeah.
You know. Yep, that's it. Apocalypse Charm, which is a terrible card because that would imply that we have cards from the Homelands expansion in play. Um, Willow Fairy is also worth talking
Yeah,
about, I
it's
guess.
better than
And
Screw Sprites.
Shrink is a decent. Um, but even like classic cards, they have 3 mana rampant growth. Like this set sucks. In renewal, but it does draw you a card at the beginning of the next turn or
Yeah,
whatever.
like turns the land to another land but draws you a card is not too bad.
It's pretty bad, but it's not, Yeah, apart from a couple cards, I just don't see um things making our deck long term. And then in terms of the artifacts, they're not great. Um Morgan and I have been pretty lucky enough to avoid playing artifacts in our deck because they're bad. Um and then one of the biggest impacts I actually think is these tri-lands, the shards,
Yeah.
uh, which are, they're tri-lands. They're not great, but right now, they're the best we got.
Yeah, they'll filter
So,
regularly into one color, and then
and
it's
you
really
pay
bad
more for
filter
it.
into late into other
Yeah,
colors.
but I think the cards we're splashing for at this point in time are really expensive, and they come down later in the game. And
Yeah.
look, they're not great. Morgan and I are not going to pretend they're great. They will not make your Grixis or your Naya decks super, super long term, especially hopefully after Shards of Alara comes out and 3 color decks theoretically become more playable. But they're there. They're here. I think either of us would be, especially my pool, which is really, really close to a couple of 3 color decks, will be happy to play Tri-lands.
Yeah.
These are not tri-lands that you'll play as dual lands, notably, I think. If you're just in blue-white, I don't think you'll play Wizard School or Ice and Abbey. I think you really need to get the benefit of all 3 colors because if you're playing it for just one color in a second, that second color really, really sucks.
Yeah, it is rough.
But if you need that third color, it done do a thing. Um, well, again, I don't think you're expecting 30-minute videos of us talking about Homelands because there's really not a lot to mention. It is interesting that this is, I think, the last set that is this bad. I think going forward, we have the bar just raises. And I think it was,
Yeah.
historically speaking, because Homelands was so terrible.
Yeah, the only other set I can remember people saying is very awful is like, was it Betrayers of Kamigawa? Or, no, not Betrayers. Betrayers was the good one, right? And Champions is good. I think it was Saviors was the bad one. It's one of those. One of the 3 Kamigawa.
Kamigawa in general
Well, no, Champions was
is just
good.
very,
I know that.
yeah, Kamigawa in general is just a very,
But either Betrayers or Saviors, the one that doesn't have Jitte isn't Champions is the bad one, and I don't remember which one of that is.
yeah, but I would wager it's not as bad as this.
Yeah.
There are at least like 2 minute tutus, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
Betrayers had the that, so it's Saviors that's regarded as the bad one, if I remember correctly. Then, unless it's people say Betrayers is bad except for Jitte, but it's something like that.
yeah. Kamigawa block in general just got a very, very bad rap because there are a lot of synergistic cards and just really weird synergies and stuff that they
Yeah.
wanted to try and then just didn't. Like the Soratomis that like bounce lands back to your hand to do things. It's just
Yeah.
Kamigawa block in general was, you know, Ben Wheeler and then someone else really, really like it and they can have it. It's just not, it's not a very good block. All right, letting you know what's coming up in the rest of the week. Obviously, this Monday will be my opening and my deck tech for Homelands. You can check out what I open and what I don't. Wednesday will be Morgan's, and then Friday will be the gameplay. So check those out. Keep your eyes peeled. This may be the last 2 weeks where you get a normal schedule. Just because, again, I'm moving. So keep an eye out for that. But apart from that, remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'm Hunter.
I've been Morgan.
Signing out.
Yeah.